Hi everybody, it's Ken Iverson. I'm back again in Kent, Washington. I just took off my glasses. I can see fine without them. I wear them at night for driving. Uh, anyway, I'm going to be going pretty soon down to my 90-year-old mother's place for dinner. She has gotten to the point now where she lives alone. She's gotten to the point now where she can no longer uh, find her way around the kitchen to cook. She'd done that up until a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to go down and prepare dinner for her tonight, and it's getting tougher and tougher for her. It's getting tougher and tougher for me, too. Uh, as I mentioned in a video last week, she and I have had some discussions recently about what the next step may be. My sisters have thought for 2 years now, or for a year now, that she should be in assisted living or a nursing home, and I say no, and my mother says no. Whatever my mother wants, that's what I want for her, as long as she's got her wits about her, and she does have her wits about her. She's sometimes I'm barely a match for her, and I can get along with the best of them. I learned it from her. So anyway, Mom, we'll see you. We'll see you probably around 6. It's Sunday afternoon, Pacific Daylight Time, about 5:22 now. It's the 5th, the 5th of September. Tomorrow is Labor Day. The 6th is Labor Day tomorrow, and I'll be recording something on Labor Day tomorrow. I'll probably spend most of the day recording videos. I lost my partner 2 years ago, and while I do get lonely at times, that's not the reason I'll be doing it. I have things to say, and I want people to hear it. I think they're worth listening to. So anyway, hopefully these videos will be getting into the hands of President Obama. As I mentioned yesterday in the video, I recorded the letter that I read that I sent to President Obama. It took me 4 segments to get all of that letter in. Hopefully he'll be seeing this. So let me assume that President Obama will see this video. And let me tell you, I mentioned that I had started something called A Journey to Peace on Facebook. There are over 500 million people who are signed up for Facebook. And that's every language on the planet, I think, is represented on Facebook. And I didn't know this at the time that I signed up last April, but there are virtual translators. I have Johnny M., who is in Romania, and he speaks Romanian, and he speaks in English, but he has a virtual translator. Johnny M. does not speak English, but it comes across in English because he has a virtual translator translating what he says in Romanian into English. So I've contacted I got a message from the virtual translator informing me of that. And I assume there are virtual translations for nearly every language in the world, including Arabic, if necessary. But as I said before, I don't want to have to rely on translators, virtual or otherwise, because so much can be lost in the translation. And then in addition to that, you don't know what's going on in the minds of the people that you're dealing with. You have Abbas and Netanyahu in Washington right now, and they are professing to make nice to one another. What Netanyahu says something the other day about, on Friday, I believe, that we're partners in peace, as he turned to Abbas. And you know, I want to believe that, and I want President Obama, I think, wants to believe that. But how long has it been since the last talks? And what happened between the last talks and now? What happened in Palestine? You know, I'm neither pro-Israeli or pro-Palestine. I have no bone to pick with anybody, but it makes me wonder how sincere they are. And is Israel going to launch a preemptive strike against Iran, against Basra, where the nuclear facility is? Are they going to launch a preemptive strike? And is Iran, as they've been talking about in the last couple of days, going to launch a preemptive strike against Israel? And Hillary Clinton was talking about this a couple of years ago. You know, the possibility of something like that happening, and it looks like that's happening now. And we don't know for sure, absolute certainty, whether Iran has a bomb or not. And I'm suggesting that they will have the bomb within a year. We have, according to President Obama, he's going to give them a window of opportunity of a year to come up with some sort of negotiated settlement to the Israel-Palestine conflict. And if we haven't done it since when is 1967? I remember I was living in Palo Alto, California, East Palo Alto, California, watching the war on television in '67. What was it? Was that the 7-Day War? I think it was 7-Day War. There's been so many of them, and you know they've negotiated in good faith, and then they'll break and they'll go and kill one another. You know, and that kind of nonsense. So let me update you on something that I have here. We have plenty of time. I'm re-recording this. The last one was jerky, and I think I was too loud. So let me get on with this. But let me say a few words that I said on the other one. I want to say this. I want to get this off my chest. Danielle, who is the housing authority property manager for Mardi Gras. I told you about Danielle. It is cold, Danielle. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, it was 58.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's translated, I went to the Celsius, Fahrenheit, Celsius converter, and it's 14.67 degrees Celsius. Yeah, wherever you are in the world, you have the two figures, and you know that that's cold. Danielle, I don't know where you are this weekend. When you left on Friday, it was warm. Admittedly, it was around 81 or 82 degrees. It's not warm now. Right now, at this very hour, it's 62.8 degrees here in Kent, and that's about a quarter of a mile. That's my computer is hooked up to a station that's located at Kent. At East Hill Elementary School, which is less than a quarter of a mile from where I am now, just the other side of Fred Meyer. It takes me about 2 minutes to walk to Fred Meyer, and it's just beyond that. That's where I used to pick blackberries until the city, in their wisdom, decided to cut down the blackberries and spray them with poison every August when the blackberries are ready and ripe and ready to be picked. So. That's another bone I have to pick. If I sound angry, I am, about a lot of things. Another thing I want to talk about is Glen Beck. Glen Beck had the audacity on the anniversary of Martin Luther King's famous speech, "I Have a Dream." He had the audacity to say he was reclaiming the American civil rights movement. And I say to that, nonsense. And there's other words that I could use, but that's about as hard as I want to go right now on Glen Beck. I could say other words, but you don't even deserve that, Glen Beck. You are not the keeper of the. You're not anyone to reclaim the American civil rights movement. You know, you were born what in '64. February 2nd or February 4th of 1964. That was 3 months after I and Dennis Sweeney and Allard Lowenstein and Aaron Henry and Harding Carter and Stokely Carmichael, I think he was around at that time, before this, you were born after we were registering blacks to vote in Mississippi in a mock election where Aaron Henry was a candidate for governor. So don't give me this nonsense about you reclaiming the American civil rights movement, because you had nothing to do with the early days, and I don't know that you had anything to do with it at all. Do you know that Martin Luther King, his next thing, had he not been assassinated, his next thing would have been economic justice for poor people. And I don't know how much you get paid at Fox, Glen Beck. I'm a poor person. I was registering blacks to vote in '63. Where were you? You weren't even conceived yet. You're a rich person. I don't know how many millions they pay you for the stuff that you come up with on Fox. I don't even think you're clever. Some people do. My friend Phil thinks you're clever. He thinks you're the cat's meow. I don't. Uh, I would like to debate you sometime. If you want to take me on, you know how to get in touch with me. My telephone number is 253-859-7866. I live in Kent. You're from Mount Vernon, which is not that far from here. I won't drive to Mount Vernon, but if you want to drive down here in your BMW or your whatever, your Mercedes, whatever you drive, you come down here and I'll let you in the building. I'll even open up the building. I live in a secure building and I'll open it up for you and I'll let you in. Usually I don't let the riffraff in. Excuse me. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Glenn. Oh, Lord, I'm getting carried away again. Having so much fun, though. So let me move away from Glenn Beck and go to another one that I have a bone to pick with, and that's Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich. I haven't voted for a Republican since Newt Gingrich became Speaker of the House in 1994 and scuttled Bill and Hillary Clinton's health care reform at that time. They wanted a single-payer health care reform, and Newt Gingrich was elected Speaker of the House, and oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. We were so close. And look at how long it's taken. What is that? That's 20. That's 16 years ago, and it took Obama to pass health care reform. And son of a gun, I could never vote for a Republican now, primarily because of you, Newt Gingrich. And then you had the temerity to come on today and compare. You said something about having somebody, Nazis or somebody, near the Holocaust Museum in Washington. And if in any way you were comparing, you were talking about the mosque, I believe. If you were talking about the mosque and comparing Nazis being outside of the Holocaust Museum to the mosque being built on ground zero, then you're full of it. You really are, Newt Gingrich. And I'd like to talk to you. 253-859-7866. I'm a poor person. I can't afford long distance. If you want to call me, I'll talk to you anytime. You can mail a letter to me if you're afraid of me. You can mail a letter to me, 24009 104th Avenue, apartment 215 in Kent, Washington, 98030-4979. That's in Washington, USA, for my friends in the Muslim part of the world who live in Afghanistan and Iraq and Pakistan and the UK and Venezuela and where else? They're all over the world. Sri Lanka, India, Punjab. My friend Sweet Singh, who's how are we doing on time here? We're getting close. We have about a minute. So my friend Sweet Swing, and I'm really sorry, Sweet, that I have not gotten to your story. I want to tell that story, and I'll tell it right now, very briefly. He was at an uncle's wedding in a small town in Kashmir when he was 12 years old. I think that was 1996, and they were fired upon by Muslims. He thought they were Muslims at the wedding, and if he's a Sikh, is Sweet, and he was almost killed. He could have been killed. And he's a nice young man. He works at Staples, an office supply company, not too far from where I live, about a mile from where I live. I've taken my computer there, the one I'm on right now, to get it looked at, and I found out that I had sufficient memory to copy and paste into ad infinitum, and I have 4 gigabytes of memory, and I was told that by Pavel, who's a Ukrainian, who's a computer tech at Staples. We're getting close to time here. Anyway, Newt Gingrich, if you can hear me and you are up to it, give me a call. I'd like to talk to you. So anyway, this is Ken Iverson. I want to mention one thing and final thing. There was a police shooting 2 years ago in Kent, where I live. Kent's a population of about 100,000. At that time, it was about 80,000. And there was a police shooting. They shot someone for, I don't know, something ridiculous, like stealing a car or something like that. It wasn't even that egregious. So anyway, we're out of time. Bye-bye from Kent, Washington.